Hey there, my friends. Welcome. Destiny and I welcome you to this channel. And if you've landed here, I'm so excited to welcome you to this beginner yoga series. Every video, I'm going to go through step by step some of the main postures that you're going to encounter. I'm also going to teach you some AYAMA-based muscle activation yoga practices to really help you build more stability and more strength in your body, engendering more confidence as you go back out into the world and do the things that you love to do, whatever that may be. So please enjoy this series. In the comments below, please let me know what kind of things that you would like to learn more about so I can make a video on that. I really would love to hear from you. Remember to click like if you enjoy this series, subscribe, and click that little bell so that you receive notifications every time I release more incredible life-transforming practices to help you manifest and live your life purpose. Namaste, friends. Welcome to this beginner series. I'm so excited to have you guys here and join us. This is part one in this beginner series, and I hope that by the end of the series, you're going to feel more strong and more stable, and most importantly, feel more confident to begin to engage more with different yoga practices. So what I'd like to do today is to begin to go through some of the practices and postures that we start off with in most yoga classes. You're going to also find that I'm not a traditional yoga teacher. I do not teach stretching, and I do not teach you how to become more flexible. What I do is help to teach you how to engage your muscles more, and we do that through different muscle activation practices. We also do it by working within our own range of motion, honoring that range of motion, and creating more stability in that range of motion, so that when you go back out into the world, you feel, again, strong and stable, you have more confidence in your body, and you can move your body as you do in your life without fear of hurting yourself. So, having said that, let's start in just a simple practice. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to all fours. And as you come to all fours, a lot of times people bring their hands underneath their shoulders, but if you look at me, sometimes there's a decrease of space here, and you can just kind of see that I'm a little compressed. So I'm going to bring my hands just a little bit more forward so that we can create a little bit more length in the upper torso. I'm going to just pause here for a moment, and what I often do is encourage people to find spine neutral here. So spine neutral is that place that you usually just kind of rest it at. But one of the ways that we can also find it is by going through both ranges of motion, through extension and flexion, and then just kind of find the middle place, if you will. So to come into extension, lift the chest and heart. Sometimes people call this in the yoga world cat-cow practice, okay? If you want to call it cat-cow, you can. So this is the cat and this is the cow. This is the extension of that pose. You're going to inhale, lift the chest and heart. And exhale and round the back. Inhale, lift the chest and heart. And exhale and round the back. Let's just do that one more time. It just feels good, doesn't it? Inhale, lift the chest and heart. And this is accessible for most people. And exhale and round the back. Very good. Now inhale, lift the chest and heart. And then I want you to come to spine neutral. So to do that, lifting the chest and heart, come out of it just a little bit. Feel the back of the neck long. Spread through the fingers. Draw the shoulder blades a little bit back. Take the sides of the belly into the midline. Cue the pubic bone forwards. Inhale, squeeze the hip bones to midline. Inhale deeply. And exhale deeply. Very good. We're going to do one more thing as we're here. So this is a practice to really start strengthening the back muscles. Even though it'll feel like we're using other muscles, we're really targeting these muscles in the lower back. So what you're going to do is you're going to lift the right leg up. You see how high my hip has gone? So I'm going to lower that hip. So kind of another word or term to use is to square the hips. Then you're going to keep those hips squared, but lift the leg up higher. And you're going to feel this a little bit in the lumbar spine. You're going to feel those muscles tighten, engage, and lift the chest in opposition, and then lower the leg down. Nice. Lift the left leg up, lower the hip. Keep the leg as straight as possible, and then lift the leg up, lift the femur bone up. Again, you'll feel that in the lumbar spine. You'll feel that in your lower back. And then come down. Nice. Lift the right leg up, 1, 2, lower the hip, and 3, lift the leg up higher. Keep pushing back through the heel of your foot. Lift the heart in opposition. Lift the corners of your mouth, and then slowly come down. And 1, lift the left leg. 2, lower the hip. 3, lift the leg up higher. Lift the chest, draw the shoulder blades back a bit. Take the sides of the belly into midline, lift the pubic bone forwards, and then slowly bring the leg down. And 1, lift the right leg. 2, lower the hip. 3, lift the leg up higher. Lift the chest and heart, draw the shoulder blades back, pull the pubic bone slightly forward, take the sides of the belly into midline. And then lower the leg down. And 1, lift the left leg. 2, lower the hip. 3, lift the leg up higher. Very nice. Beautiful. And then slowly down. Just do it again a couple more times on each side. Lift the right leg, lower the hip. Keep the leg as straight as possible. Lift the leg up. Do you guys feel this in your backs? Yeah. It's nice. All those lower back muscles contracting and engaging. Lift the chest and heart in opposition. Draw the shoulder blades back and lower the right knee down. 1, lift the left leg. 2, lower the hip. 3, lift the leg up higher. And then draw the chest forward. Draw the shoulder blades back. Lift the corners of your mouth. And then down. 1, lift the right leg. 2, lower the hip. 3, lift the leg up higher. 4, draw the shoulder blades back. Lift the chest and heart. Take the pubic bone slightly forward and then lower the knee down. 1, lift the left leg. 2, lower the hip. 3, lift the leg up higher. 4, lift the heart. Draw the shoulder blades back. And then down. We'll do it one more time each side. 1, lift the right leg. 2, lower the hip. 3, lift the leg up higher. Keep the back leg as straight as possible. Draw the shoulder blades back, pull the pubic bone forward, take the sides of the belly in, squeeze the transverse abs to midline, and then lower down. And 1, lift the left leg. 2, lower the hip. 3, lift the leg up higher. 4, lift the chest forward. And 5, draw the shoulder blades back. And 6, lift the corners of your mouth. And then slowly down. Nice. How you guys feeling? A little bit activated, a little bit warming up. You're starting to become more aware of your spine, which is really an important idea in the practice of yoga, that we're enlivening and awakening the spine. The yogis would feel or could sense this kind of primordial, if you will, energy or consciousness that existed in pockets along the spine. And so the idea then is to create length and to begin to open up the karmic knots that are surrounding those pockets of energy. So let's do the next pose now. So come back onto all fours. Let's come back to that spine neutral. So lift the chest and heart and exhale and kind of round a little bit. Inhale, lift the chest and heart And then come to spine neutral, sides of the belly in, inner thighs coming towards each other and pressing back, the hip bones to midline. This time you're going to tuck the toes and come into downward dog. I want you to keep the knees bent here. So keep the spine as elongated as possible. And we're going to come back and forth into fours and downward dog. So inhale, come to all fours. Lift the chest and heart. And exhale, come into downward facing dog. Inhale, come to all fours. Lift the chest and heart. And exhale, come into downward facing dog. Inhale, come to all fours, lift the chest and heart. And exhale, come into downward facing dog. Keep the knees bent here. Don't worry about straightening the legs. Inhale, come to all fours. Slowly coming down, you can feel the core working and engaged. Exhale, come into downward facing dog. Keep the knees bent. Lift the toes up as you're doing that. So even though the knees are bent, lift the toes. You're going to feel your quads activate a little bit more. Inhale, come to all fours. Lift the chest and heart. And exhale, come into downward facing dog. Now, if this is really hard for you, by the way, to just kind of hold dog, there's a few different options that I'd like to just offer to you at this moment. One of those options is to bring the hands to like a chair or something, or even to the wall, but something that's lifted away from the floor. And you can bend your knees again and just press back. Now, one of the instructions in downward facing dog is to lift the glutes upwards. So lift your glutes. Another way of saying that is to lift your tailbone up. But then you also want to engage the sides of the belly into the midline. One of the things that you don't want to do in downward dog is to push the chest down. So never, ever, 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 ever do that. Ever. And then again, lift the buttocks upwards. Take the sides of the belly into midline. And just feeling that sense of elongation in the spine. It's just so good. Now, if you want to, you can start to straighten the legs and press the leg bones back. And then you can come on out of it. Come on back onto the mat. Nice. And let's translate that now into the mat. So come into all fours, come to spine neutral, and then tuck the toes and come into downward facing dog. Nice. Now, if you want to, you can start to straighten the legs here, but just notice if that creates any stress or tension. If it does, just bend the knees again. Work on lifting the glutes upwards, so sticking your butt up. Work on that sense of elongation from tailbone all the way to the crown of the head. It's beautiful extension pose. Okay, we're going to kind of move into another little pose which I like, and that's called plank pose. This is a fantastic pose. Now, one of the things that I'm going to come onto my knees, and you can as well. One of the things that you want to be careful of is not to press your shoulders past your wrists. Okay, so that's why a lot of people end up with a lot of wrist problems when they're doing yoga or some sort of fitness, is that their wrist comes into extension that's more than what the wrist can support. So we need to honor the wrists as much as possible. So if you're finding that you're pushing forward with the shoulders, then walk the hands forward a little bit. This is a really important pose to start building strength in our core, and specifically the transverse abdominis. So when we come into this plank pose. Now, if you need to bring your knees to the floor at any time, you can do that, but you see how I'm not like so much on fours as I am in this kind of modified plank. But I'm also, you can see my hips dropping. So I want to bring the navel into my spine and kind of squeeze the sides of the belly into the midline. I'm also going to press up a little bit in between the shoulder blades and draw the chest forwards. So we're kind of getting into a little bit of the serratus anterior muscle, which is also another important muscle to work on engaging. So coming into this pose, or do the option of lifting the knees off the floor. We'll just hold for about 6 seconds. Squeeze the sides of the belly in, pull the pubic bone in, drop the hips a little bit, but keep the legs engaged. Exhale, come into downward dog. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, come to all plank pose. Take the sides of the belly in. Press the heels back. Again, your knees can be down on the floor. That's completely fine. Keep squeezing the sides of the belly in. Exhale, come into downward dog. Inhale, come to all plank pose. Squeeze the sides of the belly in. Press up in between the shoulder blades. Radiate the heart forward. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, come to plank. Take the sides of the belly into the midline, chest forward, and exhale, downward dog. Nice. Inhale, come to plank pose. Press back to the heels. Take the hips into the midline, chest forward, sides of the belly in. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, come to plank pose. Now push away from the floor. Take the sides of the belly in. Let the hips dip a little bit, but engage the legs upwards. Take the pubic bone forward. Exhale, downward dog. Very good. Bring the knees down. And that's the beginning of our beginner practice. I hope that was useful to you. We're going to be going through more postures in the series. I'll break them down for you and help you to begin to build a flow. Again, a flow where you have stability. What I want you to cultivate in your practice is stability and strength, and a sense of like confidence, not the confidence that comes through being more flexible or having more stretching capability, but confidence that is rooted in stability and strength, also in stamina, and that you have a body that can move through life that is pain-free and can help you to manifest and live your life purpose. So namaste, my friends. Have a super wonderful day. And please tell me in the comments below what you liked the most about this practice.